everybody, if you are new here, my name is AZ, aka T-Spiracy, and I am just amazed at how many people were interested in my haircut that I got back in February, my Marilyn Monroe haircut. Marilyn Monroe isn't like a huge idol of mine. I mean, she's obviously a really beautiful woman, and I love the fact that she is thick, because I'm thick. I like snacks. Do you like snacks? Who doesn't like snacks, right? Come on. So I'm going to show you how I do my hair. Just know I'm not an expert. I don't pretend to be an expert. You might know a better way. You might know another product that makes this a lot easier, makes it better, makes it whatever. Yeah, I'm no expert. I mean, I live by the messy bun. I'll probably die by the messy bun. And when I do fix my hair, this is how I do it. So stay tuned. The staples. I am not a fan of mousse because it makes my hair feel sticky, and I can't wash my hair every day. My hair is fried. I do it myself, you know. So as you can see, you know, I got some. If I were to let this dry natural, I would have an afro, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I have an afro, and then sometimes I have a messy bun afro. You know, it is what it is. And the first thing I do is I part my hair on the side. I think that maybe Marilyn Monroe did it on the other side, but I have a cowlick right here. Like, as you can see, I have a widow's peak, right? That's part of the reason of why I looked at that hairstyle and I was like, I think that I could pull that off because I have the V, right? Very fair skinned. I have blonde hair. So what I do is I start here and I just make the part, right? And I'm not too particular about my part because, as you can see, I have platinum highlights. I started getting gray hair when I was like, I don't know, in my early to mid 20s. Gotta love genetics, right? So after I part it, I put some Paul Mitchell serum in it, right, to kind of like take it down a notch. So I'll do that. And then while I do my makeup and stuff, right, normally I will do this, what I'm about to do next, while I do my makeups. I don't get too concerned about the underneath, about putting the rollers in the underneath, because it's the underneath and I can just kind of tease it if I need to. They're the thermal ones. That way, if you were to take a hairdryer to it, you know, it would heat up faster. So there's that. So I'm going to start with the first one. So I just take my comb and I kind of start from like the middle of the crown of my head. And I brush it up, right? And then I take the biggest roller I have. You may duck down a little bit. And I start to wrap. And because they're Velcro, you don't need to secure them. I just kind of go like this, a little shake, shake, and, you know, do that. And then I'll take the next piece, right? Now, the hairdresser told me the trick of doing this hairdo is to make sure that the part that frames your face, that hair, gets rolled forwards. Like, that's the big thing. So, I'll wrap it around, forward, march. So I do forward like that, right? So I do all the ones that frame my face forward and the rest go backward, okay? So I'll take this one, brush it out. If you guys know a mousse that like gives volume that doesn't make your hair feel sticky like at all, hit me up in the comments because I'm down to know. Roll forward, take this one. Right, I just take it from like where my ear, from behind my ear, do it that way. And then the back, like I said, I just kind of, I'll take like the part, because this layer is really short back here. So I'll brush that up. Do that one. This one will go backwards, not towards my face. I'm not gonna, like I said, just the ones around your crown, you know, are rolled towards your face, right? So there's that. And I'll kind of just leave it like that till I get ready. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, let me fix this, hold on. Sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I will take a hairdryer to it to kind of heat up the thermals inside here. Oh, this layer is so short. I gotta put another one over there. I'll just take a hairdryer to it and kind of, you know, put some heat on it. And I love these thermal ones because they work so much faster than your average curlers. I don't have hot rollers because I try not to use heat on my hair because let's face it, it'll shrivel up and die. So I don't do that. But so yeah, I'll do that. Now today I don't really have time for that. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna show you my favorite tool that kind of like, you know, if I don't have time to let these sit or to take a dryer to them and let them cool, I'll do what I'm about to do next. So here it is. I got this at Target. This is Infiniti Pro, Conair Infiniti Pro, and I honestly wish it was a little more powerful. I wish it had some more oomph to it. I wish it threw out a little bit more power as far as blowing that hot air goes. But how many times, girls, have you had a big round brush and you're with your hair dryer, you got your round brush and your hair dryer and you're rolling, your arms get tired? Like, that's kind of rough. So this is like a 2-in-1 deal, right? Because you have to hold one thing instead of two. So they make these like where some of them move while you have it on, right? This one doesn't move. I just move it myself, but they do have those, which would obviously be a lot more better. A lot more better. So take these out. A lot of people think you need to unroll these. No, you pull them out quickly, because if you unroll them, it's just going to be a disaster. See how that gave that little swoop? That's key. That's key. You need the swoop. I call it the swoop. So that's the swoop. Because I consider this one like the most important part of the hairdo, I leave that in just because, you know. And then I start at the underneath. I'll just start curling the underneath. You can't get a straightener like right up against your scalp or against your head, right? I have a lot of broken pieces right here. You can see that, right? The reason why those are so broken is A, because my bleaching, and B, when my hair was long up until February, I used to put it up when it was wet, and then it would dry while it was up and it would break. That's what my hairdresser told me. She said, don't put your hair up when it's wet, because as it dries, it shrinks, and as it shrinks, it pulls, and you know, bad idea. And I was like, oh, that's why. So I like these because it gets right up against the head, so I can take care of the frizzy pieces around my face, you know? So I just, like I said, the part that frames your face, towards you. You want to go towards you. Oh, another cool thing, this has like a cooling blast too. So like I'll do hot and then I'll put it on cold, or after I put it on there, or while it's still warm sometimes, I'll take it and I'll just do like a finger roll, right? I will roll my hair up like a little honey bun, right? Like a little honey bun. And I will go like this, right? And I'll take one of these 2-prong hair clips, right, for pin curls or whatever, and I will just slide it under, and then it will sit there, and as it sits there, it cools and it's more likely to stay better. That was a really cool trick too. So these pin curls are key. I mean, they do great. I've seen people use them for volume. Like, for example, I've seen people with curly hair who want, you know, because when you put like gel and mousse in your curly hair, like sometimes it'll end up being flat like helmet head, and like the bottom will be curly. So if you take these, right, while your hair is drying and you have curly hair, you can kind of like lift your roots up, right? You just kind of let it dry like this. I don't do that because my hair is already wild enough, but if I had long curly hair, I would. So maybe one of you out there needs that piece of advice. I don't know. So on the crown part, what I'll do is I will take this and I'm going to go forward but round. Forward but rounded back. Forward, this so I can give it kind of volume. And while that's still warm, I'll roll it again. Okay, and I'll just leave it like that until like I'm done. And so you got me, right? You can either pin them down like this. If you want real volume, you can, warm the hair up and then leave the thermal roller in. I'm gonna start shaping it, right? So what I do is like I'll hold the back pieces up. I'll take some volumizing hairspray And I'll just kind of spray the root a little bit. I don't want to spray it all over because I use a different hairspray for that. And then I'll just kind of, like I said, up and round, up and round. And then I'll take my finishing spray and kind of just give it a light little tap tap, right? Little tap tap. And when the hairspray dries, take it out, right? So then I have like this crazy volume, right? I'll put this in like 1 inch up or so, and then I'll go down. I don't do it a bunch of times like that crazy teasing. I kind of just go in, down, in, down. You know, see, there we go. That's the volume I'm looking for. That's what I'm talking about. What I find works really good is, like I said, I find this piece to be the most important part of the hairdo, right? So what I'll do is I'll spray a little hairspray on my fingers, right? And then I'll kind of like put it at the ends. And then we'll go like this, right? And we'll use this to set that, right? Right it flat against your head, okay? This I call the Karen meets Marilyn. I call this the Karen meets Marilyn hairdo, you know? So yeah, the Karen meets Marilyn, and that's how I do it, all right? Okay? Bye-bye. Fake it till you make it. Alright, so seeing as how I had to fake it till I make it to do this Marilyn video, because let's face it, this is what I look like on my off day. It seems like I have a lot of off days. So I decided, since I'm doing a fake it till you make it hairdo, let's do a fake it till you make it story. Back in the day, I had this job that I hated. We've all been there, right? We've all had jobs that we don't like. I wanted out, but I didn't have anything lined up, and you know, that would have been dumb of me to just up and quit. So what happened was, I went out to eat one day at a restaurant, and I sat at the bar with a friend, and while we were sitting there, you know, drinking Long Island iced tea and kicking it with the bartender, and I heard the bartender talking about how the bartender was in fact the manager. This bartender manager was talking about how desperately needed bartenders, how much money they make in cash a night, and I was like, whoa. That's a lot of cash to walk away with for like one night's work, right? So I was like, the wheels started turning, the Long Island iced tea started flowing. So I'm like, oh, I'm a bartender. He's like, oh, you are? I was like, yeah, I'm actually looking for a job. He's like, you are? Now, he had already been talking to me, so he knew, like, that I had a personality. You know, not to toot my own horn, but beep, beep. I went to mixology school, I tell him. Yep, I told him that. So stupid. I get hired on the spot, right? I'm leaving there, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get a job, get cash money, popping bottles, right? It's like talking to people, popping bottles. Like it seems like anybody could do it, right? So I was like, yeah, how am I gonna learn this in 2 days? I start thinking, I'm like, shit, like, what am I gonna do? So what better way to learn anything you need to know in the world than to just go on YouTube, right? For 2 whole days, I watched YouTube bartending videos and I took notes, okay? So then it comes time to actually go in, right? Get a little hot, my lifeguard sweatshirt. The day comes, it's time for me to actually go in and actually be a bartender, okay? I'm like, all right, so I got my list in my pocket. I got this long list with tiny writing about every single drink, you know, quick fun facts about how the basics of liquor are stored in the quick bar. I don't know, I have all this stuff written down, okay? So I'm like, I got this. I already quit my other job, so I had to got this, all right? So I go in there, I end up working with this girl, but I actually did pretty good. Like, everything was fine. People were ordering like normal stuff. I was dreading when somebody ordered like a fancy name drink or something. I was like, please don't. Every time I would ask them what they want, I'd be like, please just get a Budweiser. Please just get a Captain and Coke. Like, desperate, right? Then I met my match. So the person says, yeah, I want a Blue Moon or whatever. So I don't know what that was. I thought it was a drink, right? What do? I take out my handy dandy list that I have in my pocket. Now, mind you, the writing, because there's so many drinks in the world, the writing on my list had to be really small so I could fit them all. So it's like it was like really dark out there. at the outside bar. You know, it was like the ambiance was low. It was hard to, I was hard. I couldn't read my list. Like I'm trying to cheat. Like I'm like, Blue Moon, how do you do that? How do you? So the girl I'm working with, she looks at me and she's like, you didn't go to mixology school. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. And I'm like, nah, I didn't go to mixology school, girl. I did not. You're right. I didn't. You got me. Yeah, I clearly don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, how did you know? Like, how could you tell? Like, was I really that bad? She's like, girl, you took out your list to figure out how to make a Blue Moon, and it's a freaking beer. I was like, oh. Anyways, after coming clean to her and the manager and stuff, they weren't even like mad about it. Like, I think they were just so like astonished that somebody would fake such a ridiculous thing. The manager was like, you even added mixologist into the mix. Like, you could have just said, yeah, I'm a bartender, I have experience, but you even said like you went to mixology school. I'm like, I know. I'm like, it wasn't me, it was the Long Island iced tea talking. Desperation and liquor are just not a good mix, kids. Don't get desperate and drink liquor at the same time, okay?